Bonjour et bienvenue dans cette nouvelle interview des Noiseurs. Son concept, vous présenter des artistes engagés en faveur de l'écologie et de la solidarité. Aujourd'hui, nous partons à la rencontre de Dianne VAN GIERSBERGEN, une artiste néerlandaise, chanteuse, mais également créatrice de bijoux qu'elle fabrique à partir d'instruments de musique recyclés. So, hello Diana.
Hi.
Thank you very much for having us today for this interview.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's really an honor. First of all, I will start with this basic question about the pronunciation.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I know that you are asked this question like a billion times.
Yeah.
But, we French people are trying to pronounce it, but
Yeah.
it's catastrophic.
In English, people call me Dianne.
Dianne.
And I listen to that. So
Okay.
Dianne is fine.
I wanted to ask you, if you had to introduce yourself, what would be the first things that come to your mind?
So my name is Dianne. For those of you who do not know me, I'm the ex-singer of German symphonic metal band Xandria. I'm a classically trained singer and I am in the crossover between symphonic metal and classical vocals, obviously. I do have a progressive metal band that I founded in 2004. And apart from that, I am a jewelry designer. Not simple jewelry, no. I upcycle used cymbals, bass guitar strings that I gather from famous and upcoming bands, and I turn them into a new piece of art.
And you're also a podcaster.
I have a podcast together with my good friend Cela. We know each other pretty well, and now we're like, oh, we know each other pretty well now. But it's all good fun.
It is really fun.
Yeah.
I've listened to that, and it's like you're listening to two friends talking, and you're like kind of witnessing the conversation.
Yeah, but you're there at the table sitting with us.
And sometimes I'm laughing just on my own.
Out loud, right?
Yeah.
I have the same thing when I listen to the takes again because we have some small edits here and there. And then I also find myself laughing at some point.
So how long have you been in the music industry?
Long. For me, it's like so much part of me that I cannot say like, oh, I started then and there. My first singing lesson was on my 4th birthday. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow.
4. It was a gift from my parents who never had their music lessons, which I always wanted, but just couldn't. So they decided if our girls show an interest in music, we will put them onto music lessons straight away. And with me, it was the best gift that I could have ever received. I've had singing lessons ever since, up till I joined the conservatory. I studied classical music bachelor and then my master. And then I had enough singing lessons.
Maybe when was that moment when you realized, wow, this is the dream?
If you ever come to the point on which you say, I am living the dream, then that's the end.
Okay.
You have to evolve.
Yeah.
So that means that you have to always have the feeling, I'm not there yet.
Okay.
Because that means that you want to perfect things. You still want to grow as a musician, as an artist, as everything that comes with it. Also organization-wise. And now in this world with social media, you have to be a content creator as well. And if you... I totally believe that if you have the feeling of, okay, hey, look at me, I'm doing well, then you become sloppy. So I am totally living the dream and I'm still chasing the dream for the future.
Okay. And can you tell us who is your biggest inspiration?
It's kind of obvious. I was 15, 16-ish when I first heard Nightwish. And you should know that my mother has always been fond of classical music and played that a lot.
Oh, okay.
And then my father is much more into symphonic progressive rock. So when I heard Nightwish, those two worlds came together and I was like, is there more of this? I need to find out everything about it. But I've always favored Nightwish. When I was in Buenos Aires with Xandria, I did meet, I think, her agent.
Okay.
And I did ask, does Tarja know I exist? Because the fangirl in me needed to know. And she said, oh, definitely.
Really?
So that was, that made my night. So she has been a huge inspiration for me. But much more in the sense that I found a home there in the genre. And I knew that was my home as well. Because now people start comparing us to one another, and I really don't care for that too much.
Yeah.
Tarja and me, as every other singer who studied classical music and now finds himself in the crossover between symphonic metal and classical vocals, that each in their own right is unique.
Yeah.
You can say, oh, she sounds like, or it sounds familiar too.
Yeah, this is the same genre and opera, but the difference still, it's...
Yeah, but we have completely different instruments.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I've seen that you're working on a new project.
I am, yes. After leaving Xandria, it took me 5 years to complete my journey and find my way back into symphonic metal. And now I am creating an album called Soulward Bound, which will be all about that journey. And because I like to do things my own way, it will take me 5 years to complete.
So you're releasing 2 singles a year?
Yes,
in 5 years.
people are really scary when I say, oh, the album will be out in 5 years. And they're
sad,
like,
maybe.
5 years? But it's not, you shouldn't see it as out in 5 years. It will be completed in 5 years.
Okay.
And indeed, I will release 2 singles each year. So people will really walk the journey together with me, and I will tell them all about what happened to me in the 5 years that it took to complete that journey.
So can you tell us about your first single after this tour?
Yeah, so I don't want to linger in the past for too long, but obviously I had to start at where my journey started, which was the breakup with Xandria. So the song is not about my time in Xandria, but it is about the breakup and the moments directly
afterwards.
Yeah. I'm going to sing my heart out and sing all my frustrations and sadness and anger out. And
that's good therapy.
It will actually be a very therapeutical album for me. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've recorded here in Sandlane.
Yes, in the mighty Sandlane recording facilities where we are right now.
It's home for you in a way.
This, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. I've been here recording with Xandria, with my own band Ex-Libris, and now for my solo album as well. I'm safe here, which is very important.
Safe. That's an important word, indeed.
Yeah.
So we're here today, of course,
to
get to know you,
Yay.
but to know more about as well your jewelry.
Yes.
Precious metal jewelry.
Yeah.
So as you know, in our association, we try and raise awareness through towards ecology and solidarity as well.
Yeah.
And we try to engage with artists that are trying to make a change or that are raising awareness through their work.
Yeah.
And so when we saw your work, we thought, metal music, jewel, recycle instruments, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So can you tell us, when did it all started?
Well, I've created a jewelry for ever since I can remember.
4 years old as well?
No. It started out as a hobby because I've seen friends do that. And obviously when you're a little girl, you create a little necklace out of macaroni, for example. And I really love that.
And here we have one with macaroni.
Very expensive one. I couldn't find items that I wanted to wear on stage. Now, statement jewelry is really well known and it's in every store available. But then when I was on stage with Ex-Libris, I couldn't find it. And I was looking for a mixture between creating music and selling jewelry. Because everyone can create a necklace and put it on a merch table, but it has to have a story for people to want to buy it. And then as simple as this, I was in the backstage or in the rehearsal room, and I saw the band guys throw out their old strings, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Now here's something I can work with, because A, it has a story. B, it should never end up in a waste bin, because just because it doesn't have the bright sound anymore, doesn't mean that the material isn't interesting anymore. I took it out and I started working with it, and I actually have one of the first necklaces here. This is one made with bass guitar strings, a whole set of them actually. And this one has been on the journey with me for such a long time, because I've worn it in Ex-Libris concerts even before I was with Xandria.
Okay.
I've worn it during Xandria concerts, but also in the Nightfall video. And afterwards, I've also worn it. I think I was wearing it, on the Aryan shows.
So it's more than 10 years old then?
This one's very old, yeah. There's a lot in here, yeah. And I also, because Ex-Libris has the color red to define the band with. So the red stones I added way later. And then when I had the Aryan shows, I added these glitters.
Oh, okay.
I just started out with the lava stones and with the blue facet stones.
So much meaning then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is just me starting up and not knowing so much about jewelry yet, because the wire that you see in here is just garden wire. So this is a very old one. I will definitely never sell it because it has been with me on a journey and it will continue being with me. So that's one of the first.
So have you always been creative with your hands? I mean,
yeah, I think so. I have that from my father. My mother is the thinking.
And the music?
The thinking one. That's a very interesting one because in my family I have a great uncle who could play violin, and I have both grandmothers who could sing but never really pursued something in that. And that's it. So I come from a line of two families where no one has a musical career.
You combine the two? The music and the...
maybe, yeah. My father always jokes, it's a really silly joke, that he used to be a very great singer, but he passed it on to me.
Has he seen you on stage with Xandria
or
multiple
times, yes. If I would perform in, for example, up in the north of the Netherlands, which is like 3.5 hour drive, they would definitely be there.
Yeah. And when you started crafting your jewels, did you have an ecological awareness of what you were doing?
Yeah.
Then did you realize that it had an impact because instead of being thrown away?
It's only a minor thing that I get to help with. But in the end, if we all think like this, then we can save so much rubbish from the trash pile. We need to, and especially now in this time and age, we need to reinvent our thinking because we've already produced so much material. I can really get even a little bit annoyed about it.
Yeah.
I love upcycling.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love passing things on to someone who then I can make terribly happy with it because to him or her it's new.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so it's and also with my jewelry, it's all about continuing the story. I love layers. Also, when I create music, there need to be layers. There needs to be a reason why I do this, and a reason why someone would love to have a product of mine or listen to a song of mine.
And I guess that in the music industry, the lifespan of an instrument can be short. So maybe
especially the materials I use.
Yeah, in the metal genre.
For example, a guitar can last you a lifetime.
Yeah.
But the strings, as soon as they lose their brightness, people will then restring their guitar and not think about the waste.
Do you have, lots and lots of stock with you?
I do have people ask me, are you not afraid that you will be running out if your success picks up, which it actually did now with the launch of my new website? No, not afraid. No. If you come to my studio, you will see boxes and boxes full of strings. The worry I have is that I don't have enough space to stock everything because there will always be more guitar players and drummers than jewelry creators. I'm in contact with bands who are donating to me. I also promote them via my website, or if I make a post like, hey, I created this new bracelet and it's made from strings from, for example,
I guess it
Powerwolf and
people that
it should be a circle. It should be a circle. So they give their stuff to me and I give them promotion. And I don't need to promote Powerwolf. No. But there are also upcoming bands who do need that promotion.
And do you contact them, or are they used to giving you stuff like,
that's
Dianne,
funny. Because that happens now.
Yeah.
Of course, in the beginning, I contacted them constantly. And not as much calling, because it's always important to have a certain connection. So that would be bands I toured with or bands I walked into here in the studio. I've never gotten someone's reaction being, oh no, that sounds stupid.
Always positive.
Everyone loves it. And everyone's like, that sounds cool. Oh, I'm going to save up for you.
And is there a band or an artist that you would really like to have something from a chords from a band that you really like, or symbols?
I would love to have guitar strings from Muse. From Matthew Bellamy. That would be a dream for me, cool. Because I really love Muse. But those are up there.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
And later on, we'll have a look at your jewels, and you're going to tell us more about how you make them and everything. Now maybe we can turn and talk about a little bit about ecological. Is that something that in your daily life you feel conscious about?
Well, I do not in the sense that it's an obsession, but I try to use as little plastic as I can. I always reuse bags, for example, not recycling waste for compost in the garden, stuff like that.
And do you have like something that you do that you're very proud of?
Well, for example, the boxes I used to send all my jewelry in are recycled.
Okay.
But then like recycled paper. But if I need to use a larger box, I will just go to the supermarket. And I love Vinted. And I think I've bought so much now that they will soon be inviting me to go on a business trip with them or something. I don't know.
You've been part of the music industry for a long time now. Mm-hmm. Do you think that this ecological awareness is reaching a point, or is...
At a certain level, I think individually people are taking more and more care of that. Looking at it from the business perspective, it's all about moving fast and making money. It doesn't sound too nice in the music, but in the end, it is, because if you're a touring band, you have crew, so you have people to pay. So it makes much more sense to go from A to B very fast, do the show, and then continue on to do another show. That's much... more logic than take the time to travel in a natural, environment-friendly way.
In trains or your bike.
But flying, when we toured, for example, Asia or South America, it was like flying every day.
Even if we can't do something physically, maybe in the messages that we carry through the songs, maybe we can have an impact.
With Ex-Libris, I love to write about history. Yeah. And I'm convinced that everything that will happen in the future has already happened. And then I don't mean like spooky things or something. I mean...
But the story repeats itself, history.
Yes, and we can learn from the past and then implement it in the future.
So you think that an artist, its role could be to raise awareness through lyrics or even on stage, I mean, having... little talk.
Yeah, but that's the layers that I've spoken about in the beginning. It should not only be about entertainment. It should be about, indeed, getting a message across. And it doesn't have to be like this huge message that I want to lay upon someone who then feels uncomfortable, like, can I just listen to the music instead of now becoming a climate warrior? That's okay. But here is what I'm offering you. People are screaming, listen to me. Yeah. Or like you should do this.
Do you know maybe of any bands that are trying to change things or on stage or...
I think nowadays so many bands are trying to implement some kind of wisdom. But I think more people are diving into that. Yeah.
You can't really nowadays... like hide from it, I guess.
No, but it's also truth is perception. So my truth doesn't need to be someone else's truth.
So we're coming to this point where we're going to ask you, why did you accept this interview? I mean, you're a great artist. I mean, what did you tell yourself when you received the message? Like,
if I get an interview, the first thing I do is check out who is behind it, what's behind it. And for me, it was very easy to accept, because the first thing I saw through your emails, but also on the website, was passion. Yeah, because that immediately links us, because I'm very passionate about music and my jewelry. You're passionate about this goal, about why you're interviewing me today.
So what is your next move towards ecological awareness?
I'm always open to see if I can move up a step with the jury, definitely. Yeah. And privately also. Yeah. So the
in your daily life or
yes, always. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Now we're gonna discover all your jewels and you're gonna show us how it's made. So, Dianne.
Yes,
your jewels. Amazing. Tell us more. So you told us already about
the story behind
piece.
This one. Yeah. Now this is also a Xandria creation, or at least I created for the Fire and Ashes EP. Okay. So you can see this, I think, on a few of the promo pictures, and definitely also on the photos. Okay. The photos from the live shows. God.
Okay.
That moment right there. This is all general collection. Some of them is new collection, is not even online yet at this very moment of recording. So this is new. This is one of my bestsellers. Basically, what you should know, what I have lying here is cymbals or bass guitar strings and guitar strings. I also have a few violin, cello strings and grand piano strings, but they're very nice materials to work with. But they are very sharp.
So how long, for instance, would it take you to create a piece like that?
This is like hour and a half.
That's all?
Yeah.
You're
By
fast.
now it's hour and a half.
But when you started,
when I started out, it would take much longer. Yeah. So when I'm creating jewelry for a new collection, I can also start creating and then put it away for a little bit and think, it's not going in the right direction. It always has to be something that I would be willing to buy. It doesn't need to be my style.
And like, for instance, can you tell us one of the jewel that is made out of a famous band?
Well, this is a symbol that I got from Epica. It doesn't come to me like this. It comes to me like complete, but with a crack. This is Epica, and I also have a very small little necklace because when I cut the shapes out, I sometimes have waste material.
Okay.
And I was like, what can I do with these little chips? And then I thought, I can make a very small pendant. You do learn to be patient.
Yeah.
When you're doing what I'm doing.
Are you patient?
Not by
Are
nature.
you learning?
Not by nature.
Okay.
Definitely not. This one, again, an upcycling story because try to find something with which you can engrave a symbol.
Yeah.
Because a symbol is in the process so hardened that it can withstand all the beating from the drummer. So it's not meant to be broken or to cut in or to engrave in. What I'm using to engrave the leaf that I have here is actually a drill from the dentist. Because they are made out of diamond, which is
Did you ask your dentist?
Yeah, because they can drill into teeth very precisely. So now I have a whole set, and I use them to engrave the symbols with.
That's a nice story.
Yeah.
So if a piece like that takes you 1 hour and a half, this sort of thing, like 10 minutes?
A little bit longer, because as soon as I start, the first thing I will do is bend the strings into shape. You can feel for yourself. So it's really sturdy, and then try to make this shape and have it stay in that shape. So that's the most difficult part. You need to bend the material into a certain shape without the inner core cracking.
Okay.
So that's a first, and then comes the gluing, and then these things are still loose. So all the gluing is another hour. For it, and then it needs to set another hour.
Are those all unique pieces? Or
I used to do unique pieces, but business-wise, that's not very smart because then I would make total like portrait photography and product photos, and then I would sell one, and then it was it doesn't make any sense. So now I've moved up, and pieces can be sold like 6 to sometimes 10 times. And sometimes I do customizations. For example, these beads I have in loads of colors. So you can ask for a different color or a different size, because that's something that I also really like. This is, I think, 18.5. I do not charge more for people who want it smaller or who want it larger.
Okay.
And my website, I go to 25 centimeters.
Okay.
So a bracelet from 15 centimeters to 25, the same price.
Okay. And is there an instrument that you would like to work with that you've never worked with?
If the instrument has already broken down, then in the future, maybe woodworking.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's still so far away, and there are so many different techniques than what I'm now working with. That's a dream still for the future.
Would you say that this is not a full-time job, but almost?
I get up at 6 in the morning, and then I'm at 6:30. I'm in my jewelry studio / music studio. So I'm there the whole day until the late evenings, and then I combine the two.
Maybe if you tour again, or do you think of selling those items somewhere else rather than just on your website?
I've done a few conventions.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've tried that. Some work, some don't work. If I stick to the music genre, it works.
Yeah.
For example, I have also tried to widen to a biker convention, for example, because the style that people wear there is much of the same.
You need to stay in the field, I guess.
But it also teaches me something. Yeah. It's a very,
you have to try it.
Very good lesson. Yeah. As soon as I will start touring, they're coming with me. Yeah.
Is there an artist that has already worn your jewel on stage? Or
me.
You, yeah.
Obviously, Cela.
Okay.
It's mostly photo shoots, I think.
Okay.
That people use my stuff for. Also because they ask me, can you send us something? And then during a photo shoot, we just pick and see where we end up, and they send it back. So that's something that has happened,
Yeah, cool.
And then smaller bands, I indeed do have people wearing my jewelry on stage. Mostly those are custom pieces. Yeah.
Thank you very much
Yeah.
for introducing your work to us.
You're
And
very welcome.
thank you, Dianne.